filming from Gen Con 2017. I'm here with Olivia of RS Games, and she's going to tell us a little bit about This War of Mine, the board game, a highly anticipated board game based on a very iconic, very popular video game. I mean, a video game that changed so many perceptions about what a board game can be, and I'm very curious to see if the board game does something similar. Thank you, Olivia.
Yeah, of course. All right, so basically this is a fully cooperative game. So nobody is in control of one character. Everybody is trying to improve everyone's standard of life. So at the very beginning of the game, you will pick 3 random characters, as you see here, and you will always start them at a level 2 of hunger. So right now we've got Roman, Bruno, and I believe you'll pronounce that Zlata? Yeah, I always have such a hard time with that one. So you will always start them with this level 2 of hunger, which will kind of affect your actions as the day goes on. You'll also always start with these resources here, and so everything that you need to know about how to set up a game will be stated at the beginning here. And so it looks kind of complex, but actually everything is laid out to you very clearly. So after you have set everything out, you have all of your events, all of your objectives, everything set out, locations, you will go to the morning phase. And basically in the morning, all you're doing is you are revealing an event here and you're resolving it. So this one is saying that we're adding 3 cold pieces right here to the house that we're living in, as well as we're going to complete this, which is basically we're removing some food from our resources box over here, and they are not going to be added back into the game. So basically we're living in less. We just have less to kind of support us later, to feed us later. So I removed these to the side and I'm putting them over here. So after that, it'll go to the day actions. So right now, as a character, you get a total of 3 actions. But because everybody is at a level 2 of hunger, we're actually starting with 2 actions. So basically you're just always paying attention to what is blacked out here. And depending on if you're also fatigued or if you're ill, if you're wounded, this will also cancel out some of your actions. So an action is not moving to the place, but actually getting to a place and resolving an action. So if we wanted to send 2 people here to clear out the rubble and then another person here to search through the heap, you will move them all there, and that is an action, and then you will resolve it simultaneously, and you will reveal what's on the other side of the card.
Moving all 3 characters is an action, or there's an action per character?
An action per character.
Okay.
It's just everything's just resolved simultaneously. So let's say that as a group we have all decided this is how we want to do. So we will reveal what's on the other side of all of these cards. So on the other side of rubble is normally just rubble remnants. You have to clear it again to actually remove it. On the other side of here, we are getting some more resources that we can gather from the box here and add to our storage. So once we've gathered these resources, this gets removed, and that's the end of our first action. We want to remove all of these cards so that we can put the fittings in here.
We can put the what?
These fittings. So basically fittings are like rain collectors, so we can gather some more water, or a workshop so we can create more resources. So we're trying to make this into an actual home that will help us live. So with these fittings, or if we gather some ideas, which will be stated here to gather more ideas, we are adding these, and to be able to put these in the house, that will cost an action. So if we wanted to do that now with our resources, and if we had enough, we could set something in right now and make it an action. Like I said, this is a fully cooperative game. However, if you notice here, it'll say next player. Normally what will happen in actual gameplay is that you'll have one leader, and the leader will control the book of scripts as well as the journal, and be the only one who can touch the board. So everybody else can talk and everybody else can put out their opinion, but at the end of the day, the leader is the one making the decision.
What does the book of scripts do? Is like scenarios, different scenarios?
Exactly. So this has a mixture of your kind of choose your own adventure. So if you look in here, you have a bunch of scenarios in here. Exactly. So depending on the certain actions you pick, there are certain cards that will tell you to
read a certain paragraph.
Exactly. And so it'll give you a very detailed idea of what is going on around you.
Let's see how many paragraphs are there.
There's
almost 2,000. That's rather impressive.
Survival.
So let's say that we have gone through all of our actions during the day. We now move to dusk. Dusk, basically, the main purpose of dusk is to feed everybody. So that's kind of important that you want to do, especially right now, because you want to do that now because everyone's at a level 2. If they if it gets higher at all, they are a level 3, and you only get to level 4 before it is your death. So we have enough food to feed everybody, but we don't have enough water to give to everybody. So as a group, you will decide who you want to give water to, who you don't want to give water to. And depending on what you roll, so let's say that we pick Roman. We don't want Roman to have any water. So we will roll this black dice, and depending on what we roll, depends on whether he will raise his misery or he'll raise his hunger. So it's kind of a game of chance as well. So let's say that he rolled a 5, so now his hunger is raised by 1, so now he's a level 3. But then let's say that but at the same time we give everybody 1 raw food. Depending on what food you give them, depends on how much it lowers their hunger. So we have raw food, so it lowers it by 1. Canned food lowers it by 2. Vegetables keeps it the same, but if you don't give them any food, it raises. So let's say that we give everybody some food, and they get lowered. He's still at level 2, and these get removed, as well as these waters. So then after that is done, dusk is complete, and we'll move to the evening. Within the evening phase, you can either choose to sleep on the floor or on the bed, depending on what resources you have. Put somebody on guard duty or scavenge. You want the person with the highest prowess to either be on guard duty or scavenging, because they have a little bit more attention to what is going on. They are a little bit more intimidating, they're a little tougher. So, let's say that we want to put Roman on guard duty. We want to put Zlata outside to scavenge, because she also has a high inventory, and that's very important when you're scavenging. And we're going to just let Bruno sleep on the floor, since we do not have a bed yet. So, since he is sleeping, his fatigue doesn't go up, but because Zlata and Roman are going out and they're staying awake, their fatigue is raised by 1. So in this case, this cancels out, so he still has 2 moves, he's fine. But since this has a black here, she is back to 2 moves instead of the 3, because her hunger is down. So after we've decided what everybody wants to do, if anybody is scavenging, we are now in the scavenging phase. And so that's when we can decide to go to one of these locations. However, before we go to any of these locations, you immediately have the risk of getting shot. So depending on what you roll, depends on whether you were shot or not. So in this case, it's only if you roll a 1, which is obviously very rare. So you roll that, I rolled an 8, so she's in the clear. So after that is resolved, I will pick a visitor card. So basically every time that you go outside, somebody's right at the door and is trying to get in. So we have run into a trader. So within the journal, it'll tell you a little bit more specifically how to trade, but basically everything that you have here has a yellow price on it. So if I wanted, let's say I actually wanted this lockpick here, I would have enough to trade with this lockpick, but not with this specific trader because he has a commission of 2.
Got it.
So I would have to add 2 to that. So our components wood, and if we had any water, we are not allowed to trade those. So we can't trade them or get them. They're just
have to find them because no one would trade them.
Exactly. Excuse me. So let's say we we've done all of our trade. We're finished. Now she can move to one of these locations. We have close, we have distant, and we have far. Depending on where we want to go, depends on how many exploration cards we get. So let's say that we decide to go to Central Square. So you'll see that there's a 12 right here. You will get 12 exploration cards. And these exploration cards will kind of help you do different tasks. You can either return 2 face down to go through the book of scripts, use 2 to roll the dice to gather more resources, or return different amounts to talk to people, trade with people, heal yourself depending. So basically how that works, just to give a little visual. So let's say that we're playing and people want to look around a little bit. I will take 2 of these and I'll just put them down here. I won't look at them, and then that's our movement. I'll switch to that spot in the book of scripts, and that'll be it. But let's also say, let's say that we don't want to trade, we don't want to socialize, we don't want to roll. We can also turn this over and we can follow whatever it says on the other side of the card. So this one is to search the furniture just like you would in the house. You are just searching through, but it also has the risk of raising the noise, which will bring in residents, which can be fairly calm, fairly docile, or they could attack you and try to steal your things. So you have a lot of options when you're scavenging. And let's say that we've gathered a series of things here.
So we gathered a series of things?
Yes. So let's say
from
that
our scavenging mission.
Yes. So let's say that this is all that we've gathered. We have 5 things here, but she only has an inventory of 4. So she has to pick what she wants to bring back. So let's say that she decides to, she wants to bring the guitar because she knows she can make people feel better with that. She wants to bring the food so she can feed people, and she knows that someone's sick. She brings the medicine. So we would just take this out and we'd put it back away. So we just wouldn't take it with us. So after we're done scavenging, after we have picked all of the things that we need from our findings, and we have gathered everything that we wanted, now we move to the Nitrate. So if you do not have a guard on post, you will immediately switch to a part of the book of scripts that will, it's basically your whole building gets attacked. But since we do have somebody there, and we have specifically Roman, who is never unarmed, he always has a melee weapon at the very least, we are protected. So the Nitrates kind of depends. You can either have kind of like a reality hit, like something psychological, like a memory, depending on who is on guard, or it could be an actual attack where somebody is trying to take your things. So, grab 2. So this one we've got looters. So with this one is actually in crime wave. So as the games go on, you get more crime wave cards. So this is one of the more intense, more dangerous ones. So this is actually played later. I think I mixed all of them in here, I think. So you've got your looters, which are damaged. Like, you can fight these off depending what you have with these dice, and depending on your prowess, depends on how many times you can re-roll to try to get something better. So let's say that this is our Nitrate. We've got Roman, so Roman always gets the yellow die. They are risking to take six tokens and 6 resources, starting with the most expensive, and they're dealing out 2 wounds. So that is what Roman's trying to fight off right now. So he rolled and he got 3. Can you pick me out a bad guy from right in there, just randomly? Right here. Yeah, just someone random. All right, so we have got a soldier, basically, who is coming in. He's got, so we are going to put him here. He doesn't have much of a prowess, so, like, we have been determining, basically, that...
Sorry, what?
We have been determining, basically, that depending on the prowess, depends on how much health they have, correct? So we have given him 3 stab wounds right here. So he is severely wounded right now. So with this, that would kind of cancel out what is going on, and he wouldn't steal anything from us. And there's also other weapons that can do more damage, or you can you completely slip, or you can completely miss. There are different options depending on, like, what kind of fight it is, what kind of damage you're dealing out.
And how do you win or lose the game?
There's no hard conclusion really. It's basically who all survive to the end. So you're just trying to keep everyone alive.
And how do you determine the end?
The end will happen at the end of all of these chapters. So you've got your ending events here, and so this is determining at the end of the game. So
yeah, I like that. There's a soft conclusion. You know, winning, surviving in war is great, but it's not winning in the classical sense of like, woohoo, let's celebrate. And
so after the night raid, you'll add some more crime waves in because the days are getting more dangerous as the Civil War is continuing. And then you have your dawn phase. And dawn is basically your scavenging party has returned. You bring back everything from storage. You assign meds and bandages of anything that you may need. And then you draw a fate card. So with a fate card will explain very clearly what's kind of going on. And so you're basically resolving everything that it's telling you to resolve here. And after you've done all that, like resolve your spirits, because some people have habits. You resolved if it's too cold, if you're in a small location, all of this stuff. Once that's all resolved, you will, I believe it says afterwards you'll shuffle this back in, and then you'll pick 2 narrative actions. And narrative actions are just like bonuses. They just help you. And so you get to pick 2, and then as a group you get to decide which one you want to keep. So let's say we just do that one. Perfect.
Thank you, Olivia, for giving us this very informative overview of This War of Mine. Is the game available here at Gen Con? And is it also available in the general market or not yet?
I'm not for sure about that. I just know for sure it is at Gen Con.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much.
No problem.